One. We are back with you here on, as Larry would call it, the award-winning Gridiron Show. And I got to get that right because he'll correct me if I don't.
Well, no, it is what it is. Did we win a statewide award last year for our podcast?
We did.
And the answer then is yes. It's the award-winning Gridiron podcast. Not many people can say that.
That's right.
I had 2 second-place finishes in the state last year.
All right.
One as a baseball coach,
yeah,
and one as a podcast.
Yeah.
And I wasn't real happy with either one of them.
Okay. So. Well, I can't help you on the baseball one. How about we start with the Red Hurricane Minute? And
listen, there is a lot to talk about because I said last week that the game against Mars would be a statement game. It would tell us about a lot about who the Newcastle Red Hurricane is and will be this season as a football team. And I'm going to tell you what, they answered that question in spades. I know Mars is not having a typical Mars football season. However, that's a good program. They have good athletes, and they are well coached. And to beat them on the road, as handily as we did, is really, really a great effort and a statement as to what the season will look like moving forward. So I look for big things from the Red Hurricane this week. I think they're going to clearly take care of Summit Academy. And one of the things that'll be really neat about the game is that they are honoring the undefeated 1970 Newcastle Red Hurricane. They were 10-0. That team, I think, had given up 35 points the whole season. They are the reason that the Gardner point system is no longer in existence. The team won 10-0 and didn't have enough Gardner points to play in the WPIAL championship game. They had, I believe, 9 Division I football players on that team. Their quarterback, Chuck Fiorani, was an All-American, as named by Parade magazine. They were fabulous. And, at least in my view, but this is a biased opinion, and I know this is subject to debate, the finest team to have ever taken the field for the Newcastle Red Hurricane. I think they were that good.
I think you might have had a lot of bridge jumpers last year after a 1-5 season for Newcastle, and then a loss to Shaler for week number 1. But I'll channel an inner Aaron Rodgers. RELAX. Relax. You still got Quaker Valley, big win. Mars, big win. They're going to crush Summit Academy. And we're going to find out what Newcastle has next week when they play Central Valley. I believe that one's on the road. And then after that, Parkway starts. That's when the season really starts, is the Parkway. These games here are cosmetic. You want to win them, sure. Yeah, I know when the scoreboard is on, you want to win, but they're not going to keep you out of the playoffs if you lose, and they're not going to help you get into the playoffs if you win. Your season starts in a couple weeks when the Parkway starts.
I agree. I agree with that. I agree
Mm-hmm.
with that. However, there are certain games that are statement games that are a portent of what your season's going to look like. And I believe that the Mars game was that game. There are certain games where, as I like to tell my team, you got to put your big boy pants on because we're playing one of the big boys. And, Mars fits that category. The Red Hurricane not only won the game, they dominated the game.
Right.
So, again, I believe that is a portent of things to come for them. And yes, they will know more when they play Central Valley, and we'll know more once the Parkway starts. But at least this far, I like what I see.
And I'm surprised that we got this far, almost 4.5 minutes in, and Larry Kelly did not mention Mike Wells's pick 6. How do you let that one go, Larry? Mike Wells has a broken hand. He comes back from the game story I read. Joe Cowart was working him out pregame, seeing what he could do if they could use him on the offensive side of the ball, and he wasn't catching the ball very well. I don't think he caught the ball at all in pregame, so they put him out on defense. And what's he do? He hauls in an interception and takes it the distance for a touchdown. You got to get that in there somewhere, Larry. That's your guy.
Well, Mike Wells is a special athlete. Nothing
Right.
that he does should surprise you or anybody else. He's a special athlete. And, when that hand is fully healed, they're going to be able to utilize him at different, in different spots, both offensively and defensively. Chris Hood's been the quarterback and he's doing a great job. And Chris is a tough kid. I've coached him in basketball. He's tough. He's smart. He's everything that you want out of the quarterback position. But, Mike Wells has an arm like a cannon, and I wouldn't be surprised if I see him take a few snaps in that spot before the year's out. He could also run the ball. He can catch it. Mike Wells is a special athlete. And so nothing he does should surprise you or anybody else.
And listen, what Chris Hood had to inherit is not easy. It's not easy when a coach tells you, hey, by the way, get ready. You're going to be starting this week. It's one thing when a coach tells you you're going to be starting and you have time to prepare, maybe a whole off season or something like that. But, with Mike Wells breaking his hand and Mike was going to be their main quarterback with doing a little bit of rotating in and out, that's not easy to basically just say, hey, you're up. In a few days, you're starting.
No, but I do believe that Chris took some snaps at the quarterback position last year. So, and I'm certain that he's worked out at the quarterback position this summer. And he's a smart kid, and he understands the needs of the team. And Chris can do it both with his feet and his arm. He's a great athlete. I think Chris will be not only a big factor with the football team, I expect that he's going to be a factor on this year's basketball team also. He's just that kind of kid.
Real quick, Larry, now that we've touched on Newcastle, Wilmington lost its first game last week. I believe had its 23-game losing streak snapped, regular season losing streak.
Winning streak.
I'm sorry, 23-game winning streak snapped last week, regular season. What do you need to see from Wilmington this week? They're playing Greenville.
Well, they're gonna take care of Greenville. Listen, they had to play a team that I think they scheduled 3 days before the game. Probably didn't have a lot of film on this team they were going to play. And one of the things that Wilmington does better than everybody else is film study and prep for the game. And then they had to get on a bus. And I know it was a charter bus, and there is a big difference between a charter and a school bus, but they still drove 3 hours to the game. That takes a lot out of the team. I'm not ready to give up on Wilmington. They're gonna take care of Greenville this week, and they're gonna do so mightily. Again, I still believe they're the gold standard for football in Lawrence County.
When I became an attorney, I chose to stay here because my friends and neighbors needed a lawyer they can count on. I believe that if you're hurt on the job, you shouldn't have to go it alone, especially if your employer or the insurance company tries to bully you. You can count on me to get you the workers' compensation benefits that you deserve. Even if it gets rough, I'm not going anywhere. I'll stand my ground right here where I've always been. I'm Larry Kelly, and I'm a Newcastle guy.